Hello everybody, welcome back to the Total Extreme Wrestling 2016 Developers Journal / Dev Diary. We are here on April the 1st, and this is confirmed the final day of the Dev Diary. So, let's get to it. April 1st. Oh god, big wall of text on March 31st. Company figureheads. Each company now has the option of appointing a company figurehead or ace, like Tana or Okada now in New Japan, or Cena in WWE. This is the face of the company and the central focal point of the promotion's marketing and creative direction. Finding a strong figurehead can provide a massive boost, but requires long-term planning and good eye for talent. Good figureheads are very hard to find, but can provide such a boost to business that they're worth their weight in gold. This simulates the real-life impact that the WWF had with finding Hogan at exactly the right time. For example, bad figurehead will tank business, and it's generally bad news. Companies don't have to have a figurehead, but going without means that you're not getting any of the potential bonuses. The battle between two big companies who are equally matched could be easily decided by who finds that key figurehead. The figurehead has lots of specific pros and cons applied to him. For example, he'll be in much stronger negotiating position and demand more money, and he's easier to keep popular, but he will be far more heavily affected by losses. This can help simulate the meme about Cena always winning. Welcome to Meme Simulator 2016. If he is your figurehead, you may well find yourself having him win all the time to allow you to keep reaping the benefits of having him be a strong figurehead for you. This is both a realistic feature and one that could potentially have a major impact on the way the player books, particularly in large promotions. Merchandise sales effect. Now, this is basically a top babyface worker taking into account the drop of merchandise revenue for his merchandise because he's turning heel. So, I'm assuming that it's like, okay, I don't want to turn heel. I don't want to turn heel because I'm losing out on this money. And eventually all workers will relent and agree to turn heel, but it will take some time. So, I don't know if it's like, no, I don't want to turn heel, and if you make me, I'm going to be pissed at you, or, no, I'm not turning heel at all, and you can't make me. It's that kind of thing. But, oh well. Casting call. When assigning gimmicks, the user can now perform a casting call, giving him the ability to see all the workers who would particularly suit that gimmick. This is useful if the player has a specific role in mind. That is awesome. That's cool. Especially when you're trying to find a certain guy for a certain role and you can't find them, but you do this now and you can, if they're on your roster. Harder harmonies. Relationships made creating a harmonious backstage environment too easy in previous games, as the user could just stack up proteges and brother relatives. This has been addressed to make the system less abusable. Product impacting in-ring. In previous games, the company product did not impact workers' in-ring performances very much, meaning the same workers would get similar ratings regardless of the company they were fighting for. This has now been altered so that the product can now have a major impact with some workers who will be significantly better or worse in certain companies. Love that. Love, love, love that. Because not everybody's going to be able to work in a sports entertainment promotion. Not everybody's going to be able to work in a work rate promotion. I love this. This next one is another one that I love. For realism, a successful gimmick change or turn can potentially reset a worker's recent fortunes to simulate its fresh new creative direction. Potentially. So it won't happen all the time, but it will happen. It can happen sometimes. I would like, hopefully with this feature, you get a notice that their recent fortunes have been reset because of the turn or the gimmick change, because without knowing that, that would be a bit, it'd be a shot in the dark if they've changed it or not. Anyways, extra product settings. Extra settings have been added to the product screen, notably being able to ban risky moves or head drops. This impacts the injury rate of the company at the expense of match ratings. I don't think I'll be doing any of that, except in WWE, where I'll be banning power drivers and anything that hits the head. Yeah, that's right. No more head. Big Show, you need a new finisher. Sheamus. Ziggler gotta get rid of the super. Everyone's gotta get rid of super kicks. Nothing to the head. That's far too risky. Judge finishes. Road agent notes giving MMA style finishes that go to the judges have been added. Awesome. I mean, awesome in the sense like that's good for people who are playing those type of promotions. And storyline note. There is now a road agent note that allows storylines to be ended in the segment automatically, thus negating the need to visit the storyline screen after to do it manually. Track title prestige. Title prestige can be tracked in the same way that worker skills can, and worker's popularity. That's awesome. Momentum changes for storylines are now either emailed to the player or shown on screen. Awesome. Storyline heat impact. This is something that I thought was in the game, but apparently wasn't. Or maybe it was, and he's just saying this because he forgot that it was in the game or something. I don't know. But the heat of that storyline can now influence the ratings of matches and angles that the participants are in. The reason I'm saying I thought this was in the game is because people in the small questions thread and everywhere basically were saying that yes, storyline heat doesn't impact grades and such. But in dirt sheets I've never seen a bonus for storyline heat or negative for storyline heat. So I don't know if it's in the game or not. It's obviously in 2016 because he said it is, and if it's not, then that's bullshit. Flash pin upgrade. Flash pins have been altered to be more realistic. They are now specifically about allowing someone to get beat without tanking their heat or momentum the way a proper loss would. The flip side is that there are reduced bonuses for the winner. That's great. That's all I want that to be. Shout out to the Event Horizon X for playing Fallout 4. Tour regulars. Companies can now have tour regulars. These are workers who they'll always try to bring in if possible. This list is dynamic. In previous games, this is another thing that I love. Workers could be contracted for a specific number of shows. This has now been adjusted to apply to matches instead. This allows for a worker to appear at angles to promote their matches without running down their contract. This is so awesome. Like, this is awesome. Now in WWE, I could sign Brock to a 10-match or a 20-match contract. Be like, okay, I'll have you in here for 20 matches. They're not going to be every week, every pay-per-view for that matter, but I can use you whenever I want in angles. That's great. Instead of it previously being 20 appearances where I would have to limit that. The year 2 small note that would stop smaller companies from getting big stars has been relaxed slightly, allowing more scope for out-of-work stars to resurrect their careers. Awesome. In previous games, a company was forced to have a minimum number of storylines where they'd get a penalty. Been adjusted so that the requirement is now to actually further a minimum number per event, rather than them just existing. This forces the player to actually pay more attention to how they're booking, not just lazily dodge the penalties. The number and lowest acceptable heat have been adjusted to be fair. Okay. Workers are now smarter about when they complain about being left off major shows. In particular, being left off a season finale or a legendary event is a huge sign of disrespect and will annoy anyone and everyone, even those who are quite low down. This forces the player to book more realistically and try and fit everyone on certain shows, even if it means stuffing people into a battle royal or turning singles matches into meaningless multi-way bouts, much like this coming Sunday. Adam throwing shade at the E. Nice. Toxic locker room. Basically, now, if your locker room's low enough, you'll get a penalty for everyone being a toxic locker room penalty on all your matches. This is different than a low locker room morale. This is a toxic locker room. This forces the user to start dealing with growing bad situations before they poison everyone. Losing the locker room. If the number of unhappy locker room leaders rises above the number of happy or neutral leaders, then the player can lose the locker room, causing morale issues. Similarly, having no leaders whatsoever can cause issues. This adds to the backstage management realism. Political feedback. After a show finishes, major players, main eventers, road agents, etc. can comment on lesser workers, either for better or worse. This can lead to relationship changes. Cool. Sneaky writtens. Basically, this is if the company's just fallen to cult status and their booker came up on a contract extension, they would sign them to PPA most likely because they don't have enough money to offer writtens at cult. So, because you can offer writtens at cult, but companies with less than maybe $5 million won't. So I don't know the exact number for the cutoff, but it will happen. It's been changed so that important jobs are automatically allowed to sneak a written deal. This leads to more realistic AI behavior. Female role models. The Bailey effect. That's what it is, the Bailey effect. Young, attractive, bubbly babyface females can be eligible to get a bonus to simulate young female fan base being a possible role model to them. The Bailey effect. Click building. Highly manipulative workers are now able to poison the minds of their friends and turn them against people they dislike or form bonds between two or more allies to create a clique. Awesome. A worker who has a lot... This is isolation effects. A worker who has a lot of enemies and few friends backstage now gets morale hits and may eventually choose to leave. This is another feature that makes managing the locker room more interesting and subtle. Intimidating presence. Basically... Okay, I'll read this one. A worker who would otherwise have complained about a booking decision may now choose to keep quiet if the opponent is much tougher than him or decides to intimidate him. This can lead to some workers becoming the user's enforcers of sorts. So basically, Haku ain't taking no losses. Tryout contracts. A very short contract is automatically considered a tryout, and this is taken into account during negotiations. Contract offer memory. To make contract negotiations less exploitable, workers now remember all previous offers they've received in the recent past, and they will not fall for cheap tactics like being undercut or sounded out by making offers to find the lowest acceptable limit, and then exiting the screen and coming back in. Cool. Pulling ribs. In the locker room controls screen, there's now the option for the user to pull ribs on specific workers. This can cause morale changes and impacts the locker room atmosphere. Cool. Negative chemistry reminder. This is great. So basically, before a match happens, you will get a chemistry reminder of being like, hey, these people have negative chemistry, either fighting or teaming together. Maybe you shouldn't do this. Like, if you've already described it, the user can express these messages if he wants. Like, for tag teams with over 40 experience, I wouldn't want to see that. But with tag teams under, I might want to see that unless they're right there or I really want to push them no matter what. And for matches, like main event matches, where it's like, oh god, these guys have negative chemistry. Thank you for reminding me. Announcing teams with high experience are now immune to poor chemistry in the same way that highly experienced tag teams are. Again, the highly experienced tag teams have 40 experience or above, and that negates all... The bonus for experience at 40 negates all negative chemistry, no matter what it is. Low level popularity. Just appearing on shows helps boost worker popularity if the workers in question has virtually none to begin with. This helps get total rookies to at least a usable level of popularity quickly. Awesome. Momentum in segments. Significantly higher low momentum can now affect segment ratings as it simulates fan being invested / cold on a worker. I thought that already did it. Okay. The momentum complaints. Workers can now complain if their momentum gets too low, potentially leading to morale hits. This can also get pleased from good momentum. This makes roster management more realistic. Hopefully the jobbers don't get that, because that would be like, Barry Horowitz, why are you complaining about having zero momentum? Your job is literally to job. You're counting the likes, bro. Rather than this is the thing that I don't like. Rather than the penultimate match as being considered, the penultimate being the second to last match, as being considered the secondary main event figure for show grade calculations, it is now the best rated match other than the main event. This makes it fair and more realistic, as the user can put his co-main event anywhere on the card, or put a calm down bout before the main event without taking the rating. I dislike this, because it removes control from the user. I mean, on countless occasions, I've had matches that grade a lot higher than I expect them to, and they're the second highest or even the highest match on the card in the middle of the card, and now all of a sudden, this random match that I put on the show because I needed to get these workers on the show, all of a sudden is now the semi-main event with no build, nothing whatsoever. I hate this because it takes that control away from the either. Now, I didn't necessarily like it being the second match, although it made perfect sense for it to be the second to last match. I can definitely see why, if people use perfect show theory, why it can tank the rating if you have a very good co-main event. What I much prefer is having a clickable button somewhere either when you're booking the match or on the screen that has all the matches and segments listed, where you can say, this is the semi-main event. Obviously, the main event is the last match of the card, no matter what, so you're not going to be able to pick that. But this is the second main event. This is the second highest promoted match on the card. And that is decided to be your semi-main event. Instead of it just being a potentially random match that grades very well. I hate this. Hate it. Now, from a grade perspective, it's going to be great because what if my semi-main doesn't do so well? What if I get an 89A somewhere in the middle of the card for some reason? The semi-main that I had planned only gets 82, and the main event gets a 93. That makes my grade much better than it would be with an 82 main event. Anyways, 6-man team names. Results will now name 6-man teams as X and tag team where possible, rather than just using 3 short names that is more visually pleasing when reading histories. Using stable names. When the user is booking a match with 3 or more wrestlers on one side, the auto-namer will automatically try and use stable names where possible. Smart fatigue. The AI is now smart about using fatigue workers, but will overlook it if it means having them not work on critical shows or season finales. Contract expiry change. If worker leaves due to contract expiry rather than being released, it no longer creates the standard 6-month resigning block, due to it not necessarily being a negative event. Again, sorry for all the noise in the background. Freelancer improvements. The AI that governs freelancers have been improved, better simulating their tendency to stay with companies only for a short stay. Improved title history. A worker's title history now list has now been significantly smartened up, with everything organized in a more logical manner with importance incorporated. Original belt owners. Titles can now be said to have an original company owner as well as the current one. In most cases, it will be the same, but if a belt has been purchased by another organization, this allows the title to appear in the current Hall of Fame listings. Correct, Hall of Fame listings. Narrative AI player split. By request, the mod makers can now make a specific narratives apply only to companies if they are AI controlled, or only if they're human controlled if they want to. That's the narrative AI split. It's cool. Locker room leader search. The user can now search for locker room leaders. Awesome. Regional battle immunity. After rising in status and size, but still being less than called, the company now gets a 1-month immunity from regional battles. This helps them stabilize rather than yo-yoing. Being sent home. As a new pre-show event, workers can show up who are physically unable to perform and therefore must be sent home. This adds an extra wrinkle to bookings and encourages occasional on-the-fly changes. Hopefully it's not my champion being sent home. This is great. Impairment complaints. Other workers in a match can now complain and get morale hits for working with opponents who are too high or drunk to perform properly. So, I'm sorry, Matt and Jeff Hardy, you're not getting any work. Because everyone's gonna complain about working with you. An impairment via road agent. If a worker is so high or drunk that he gets heavily penalized during a match, then the road agent will not now comment upon it. If a worker goes more than 6 months without work or gets fired, he now loses his loyalty to a specific company. And the game now has the ability to create its own companies during gameplay, not just relying on pre-created versions. This allows the game world to continue evolving with companies far longer than it otherwise would have been possible. Awesome. Amazing. Today is a great day, and a great way to end the Dev Diary. So, guys, I want to thank you all for joining me on this journey through the Dev Diary. And, okay, I'm not going to do some emotional speech. That would be terrible. Anyways, guys, thank you all for watching. Hope you all enjoyed. Please leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next episode of the Total Extreme Wrestling 2016 Developers Journal / Dev Diary. Bye! Okay, guys. Now, for any of you that have paid attention to the video, below the timestamp, you'll know that the video is still continuing, and you can also tell that there is something down here. Anyways, guys, I have some very, very exciting news that you may or may not already know. The release date! Backyard TEW 2016, backyard! That now concludes the Developers Journal. The release date. The trial / public beta of TEW 2016 will be released on Monday, April 25th. The trial will allow 2 months of gameplay per save, as opposed to 1 month last year. If you can and you can start as many save games as you want, similar as the last game. But only play 2 months with each. As not last game because last game you could only play 1 month in the trial / public beta. You can now play in any year. So historical mods are eligible to be played. Last year you could only play in 2013, but only in the months January and February. So every month has to be January and February, which that's fine. Save games can be continued with the full version of the game. Awesome. And the full version of TEW 2016 will be released on Monday, May 2nd. Apologies for that. I could not sneeze. In both cases, the release will be sometime between 4 p.m. and 10 p.m. GMT. That's +0 if I remember correctly. So it should be like noon and 6 p.m. for my time zone. Maybe 11 a.m. depending on, and 5 p.m. depending on if it's +4 or +5 at the time, because daylight savings time and all that jazz. More accurate time will not be given. If you do not know how GMT relates to your own time zone, I would suggest searching for a time conversion website. There are many easily and freely available. There will be no standalone editor release. The editor is available in the trial, however. Alright, guys. That does it for the Dev Journal officially. It's over. Last episode. Anyways, guys, I want to thank you all for watching. Hope you all enjoyed. Please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you guys, not in the next episode, but I will see you guys in the next stream / TW 2013 video if I do another one. Or I'll see you guys when TW 2016 gets released and we have a new series. Anyways, guys, I've already done that. Please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Goodbye.